was the last time you weren't worried about anything? When was the last time you sleep like a baby at night? When was the last time you actually feel relaxed? If you're struggling to answer it, I get it, because I used to be an anxiety addict as well, which is also why I can tell you that no, this is not normal. There is another way to live where you can sleep like a baby at night and also hit every goal you set for yourself. In today's video, I will explain what is triggering anxiety and things you can practice to stop it. So by the end of the video, you will know what to do when anxiety strikes again, but most importantly, how to stop letting anxiety dominate your life. Okay, first thing first, what is anxiety? Anxiety is a feeling, and every feeling is triggered by a thought. Now, what does that mean? So you go watch a movie, right? And then that movie makes you feel sad. But why do you feel sad? Because there is a scene in a movie that triggers a thought, and then that thought makes you feel sad. And anxiety works the same way too. So in order to overcome anxiety, you need to learn how to catch the thought that's triggering it. So personally, the thought trigger my anxiety looks like, what if I cannot pay rent? What if I did not get the job? What if I get kicked out of my apartment? Or what if I never get to where I want to be? But do you see how all these thoughts have in common? They are all about the future. Meaning that when you are anxious, you're actually not present. You are projecting your fear into the future. Now let's talk about what we can do to stop the anxiety for good. The first thing is to find the root cause and to challenge the thought. And this is the most important thing in this entire video, okay? So listen up. We all have this experience, right? You feel anxious and then you try to calm yourself down. You tell yourself like, I don't want to think about it. But then what? In 30 minutes, the feeling comes back to you. Why? Because until you get to the root cause, you will not get rid of anxiety completely. What does that mean? Anxiety at its core is fear. And the fear on the surface is almost never the real fear. Allow me to explain. Let's say you're anxious about not getting a job. Be honest, does your thought actually stop here? No, it doesn't. It starts with, I will not get a job. I will be broke. I will move back with my parents. I'm a loser. Nobody will love me. You see that? If you follow your thought far enough, you will see what is the real fear. The fear here is you are scared of how other people perceive you. You are scared that you are not worthy of love. And that's a real problem here. And that's also the reason why you cannot just fix the problem on the surface. In this example, the job. You cannot just find a job and then expect that the anxiety will be gone, because it will not. Why? Because your brain will keep on finding another thing to prove that you are not worthy of love, and then cause anxiety again. Okay, now, but how do we actually fix the problem? So instead of being fixated on the surface problem, you need to challenge the thought behind it. So now let's bring our example back. In this case, ask yourself, is it true that I am a loser if I don't get the job? Okay, I know a lot of you guys will say yes, because we are usually our worst enemy. But think of this as your friend. Will you think your friend is a loser if he or she don't get the job? Will you? Will you? No. And now let's go a little bit deeper. Why do you think your worth is only depends on your work? Why do you think you're only worthy when you have a job? And if that's really what you think, what you believe in, then what you need to work on here is more than just getting the job. Is why you don't love yourself unconditionally. You see that? That's how you find the root cause. But the thing is, you cannot just delete a belief. You need to replace it with a new one. So the question here is, what do you want to believe in? And it can really be anything. Whatever you want to believe in. You can be like, I want to believe I'm worthy. I want to believe I can love myself. I want to believe that my failures don't define me. Whatever you want to believe in, you keep affirming that to yourself until your brain believes it. And that's a work that can actually kill the anxiety. Okay, now, I promise you, the most complicated part is over. So the second tip I have for you is to recognize that you don't have a problem now. Remember in the beginning I said, anxiety is you projecting your fear into the future. So when you find yourself being anxious again, instead of getting overwhelmed by your feeling or even getting dominated by it, you need to take your power back by bringing yourself back to the present. Ask yourself, at this moment, do I have a problem? No, you don't. You don't. You have roof above your head. You have food on the table. You don't have a problem. Your exam is tomorrow, not today. Your job interview is next week, not now. At this moment, you are safe. And so the one thing I love to do during these moments is I would put my palm on my heart, and then I'll keep repeating, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe to myself until my heart stops racing and my body believes that I'm actually safe. Now, this might sound like an easy tip. You're like, okay, I just need to tell myself I'm safe. But I think the hardest part for people that suffer from anxiety is that they are not present. And they suffer anxiety for such a long time that they didn't even notice that their body is feeling anxiety. It feels normal to be in that state. So you really, really have to be present in order to catch yourself like, oh, I am feeling anxious again, then you can stop it. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, but even if I'm safe now, there is a possibility that I will mess up my exam, or I will not get the job, or I will get kicked out of my apartment. Two things. First, research shows that 85% of what people worry about never happened. And second, you know what? When what you fear actually happen, you don't have time to be anxious. Why? Because you will be too busy solving the problems. I'll give you an example. So growing up, I always have this constant anxiety about flying. In my head, I'm just like, my flight might get canceled, or my visa might get rejected, or just something might go wrong. And then a few months ago, it actually went wrong. I was denied boarding right in front of the gate. Like, they pull me out of the queue and just be like, ma'am, you can't get on the plane. And then I got kicked out from the airport. Okay, but at that moment, I was sad, I was angry, but I was not anxious. Why? Because my brain immediately shifted to this problem-solving mode. I started to contact the airline company. I started to search for another flight, another options. I don't have space to be anxious. And that's the thing here. The problem will always show up, yes, but you don't go look for one when there's no problem. You save your energy until the problem actually show up. You use your energy to fix them, but you don't get anxious about the problem that hasn't happened yet. Now, the next thing is to accept that you don't have everything under control, and that's okay. I used to believe that if I work hard enough, then I can control everything. Well, which is obviously not true. People lose their job all the time. COVID happened, war happened. People's plan got disrupted. But then yet we still feel this desperate need to have control over everything. And here's the thing. Anxiety a lot of time comes from the feeling of things is slipping out of your control. And you know what? Modern life makes this a lot harder for us because we live in a time that has unprecedented amount of information. We can see people's life on YouTube. We can comment on other people's life. We can see if other people read our message or not, or we have weather forecast. And all of these give us a false sense that we should have control over everything when we don't. So that's why when things feel out of control, we freak out. You know what? People in the past don't have this problem because they simply accept that they don't have control over everything. Farmers don't know if it's going to rain tomorrow. They just deal with shit when shit actually happens. So what you need is not the ability to control everything. It's actually the confidence that you will be capable of handling whatever comes. And you will. The history, your experience has proved that already. You always got through it. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. And before we end the video, I want to say that I grew up with crazy anxiety. It's like part of my identity. And I really tried all those tips I can find online. Meditation, yoga, medication, affirmations. I tried everything, but then the anxiety always come back to me in like 30 minutes. And until I realized the problem is much deeper than that. Deep down, there was a part of me that's very broken, that is insecure, that only believes I am worthy when I'm working. That part of me needs love. And that's also why the first thing I mentioned in this video is to find the root cause. Because until you heal that very broken part of you, those devastating thoughts will keep coming back to you. There's no quick fix in this. If you want to get rid of anxiety, then you need to show up for yourself every single day. You need to look at yourself even when it's difficult to look at. You need to challenge the thought every time it pops up in your head and replace it with a new one. And I can guarantee you that if you just keep practicing, keep going, keep showing up for yourself, then anxiety will disappear. Because I did it, and now it's your turn. Now, thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.